Follow.
Subscribe to the Unconquered tribe. You are now live with the incredible host.
Wow,
This
Indian
is Hawk
TV.
School for the gifted and the elect.
Peace to the tribes, peace to the tribes, peace to the tribes. You know the vibes. I am the Incredible Hawk, and this is Hawk School for the Gifted and the Elect. And we are broadcasting live from the emphatically immaculate metropolis of Atlantis. Atlanticus Insula, if you know Latin. Alright. Today we will be discussing Natchez mythology. Natchez Legends. We might change it to Natchez Legends 101. I think I like that title better. Alright? I think that's what we're gonna go with. Natchez Legends. Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. Alright. We've been doing them the usual, you know, hawking at our best. Too high for pigeons to fly, above it all. You know what I'm talking about? We've learned quite a bit. It has been a very productive past year or so. Alright. Peace to everybody that's tuned in. Shout out to my nigga Yamaha Gold, the Godfather, Tribe. You already know what it is, man. I do it for us. Alright, as you see, they trying to goddamn manage the narrative. Alright? This shit is getting bananas, Tribe. We had another Freemason psyop today that failed terribly. You know what I'm saying? I know I am a motherfucking problem. Alright? And niggas really be coming just to fuck with me and try to trigger me, and I know it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really smarter than your whole motherfucking squad, your supervisor, and the motherfucking bitch niggas that sent you from the KGC. Press 1. If you're new here, this is what we do here. The one is for one because we already won. The motherfucker's dumb. Alright? We don't worship the sun. Alright? But we do keep a gun. So, stay cautious. Alright? Since that's what y'all on. The nigga even came in with the old pizza pie goddamn flag. Alright? This nigga got all triangles. It's really a checkerboard. But it looks like triangles. It looks like some old Freemason shit. You know, the usual goddamn Freemason mule shit. I'll be uploading a video with the audio from that where he was surgically disembodied. Alright? Let me get my lighter and we're gonna get into this Natchez. It's crazy because they literally like edit my videos. YouTube does this on their own. All right. Shout out to the niggas who fake like they on my team, but they really record my videos and think I don't know. But I'm really like a computer genius, a genius, an Atlantis genius, an American Indian genius, an Aborigine of America genius, a wild American genius, an American genius, no gin. All right. So while you niggas trying to play with me, I really be hawking on y'all on a whole nother level that's beyond your comprehension. So keep playing with me, all right? Because you making the list. You been made the list, all right? Y'all just waiting for me to say your name so you know how to goddamn deal with me. But I'll let you know when the turkey's done, all right? I do all the temperature checking around this motherfucker. You understand me? Yeah, it's a new Sharif in town. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah, and we finna crush all that shit. Y'all should have left me the fuck alone. Alright, don't try to come with all that good guy shit now. Alright? Because I'm finna goddamn keep on crushing these motherfucking idols. Keep breaking these crosses. Because that's what I was born to do. That's what I was anointed to do. Alright? So I will remain a thorn in your motherfucking timber. Now let's get into this very interesting Natchez legend. Alright? Because as I explained on American Indian 3, which was just a short installment in our lesson. All right, our lessons here at Hawk School for the Gifted and the Elect. We realized that the Natchez Indians are really they've mixed with someone else. All right, someone came amongst them, all right, and called themselves God. All right, and these niggas, I guess they motherfucking took the bait. All right, they took the cheese. All right. So now we finding out that these rat ass niggas keep on coming around talking about the Natchez Indians do. Oh, the Natchez Indians do this and that. That's because they're goddamn motherfucking Freemasons. Nigga, like, what the fuck, bro? That shit don't have nothing to do with us, all right? If you want to know about the true culture of the American Indian, subscribe to Hawk School for the Gifted and the Elect, all right? Where we lift the veils of the hidden history of America, where we lift the aprons of the fork-tongued swine eaters who have overthrown our illustrious dynasty established by our immaculate ancestors. All right. Oh, I'm gonna keep on exposing y'all. What the fuck y'all thought? You thought it was over? We prisoners of war, my nigga. We prisoners of war, nigga. What the fuck you thought? It was, why are you so, nigga, I'm a prisoner of war. Who are you, nigga? Because the only way I can see a motherfucker being cool and laid back in a prisoner of war situation is if you a motherfucking CO. Fuck, nigga. Hawk too emotional. No, you niggas is too bitch. Alright? You niggas too soft, nigga, like medicated cotton. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. You niggas would not survive in my era. You niggas pussy, bro. You nigga timid ass, beta ass niggas. You wonder why these girls fucking each other, because you niggas so pussy, they might as well fuck a girl. How's that feel? Large boy and thrown away. Natchez legend. A certain man lived alone with his wife who was pregnant. Every day he would go off hunting and come back at night with a deer, but before he set off, he closed his house up tight because many strange creatures who ate people lived in the neighborhood. Now, this is a Natchez legend, all right? Whether these were monkeys, gorillas, or other animals, they did not know. These would come up to the house and speak to the woman, telling her that they wanted to have a dance, all right? Clearly, these are some motherfucking jinn, all right? Bitch, ain't no goddamn gorillas in America. All right, so who the fuck is you dancing with? Press 1. You close up the house because there's gorillas dancing outside? This is these niggas who tell you they're Moors. Oh, these are Moors. Oh, they practice hoodoo. Nigga, they dance with gorillas. I told you to leave me the fuck alone last year. Long live Red Hand. I am the inevitable. I am Montezuma's revenge. I am Quetzalcoatl. I am the Incredible Hawk, and this is Hawk School for the Gifted and the Elect, and we are broadcasting live from the emphatically immaculate metropolis of Atlanta. All right, now, I digress. All right, so when these niggas come to you talking about, oh, well, the Natchez tribe did this, sorry, niggas, it's over. We killing that shit. Niggas be like, oh, it's only 50 people in your chat. Nigga, it's 50 nations in my chat. It's 50 chiefs of 50 nations in my chat. Stupid. I said it's 50 chiefs of 50 nations in my chat. If and when it's only 50 niggas in the chat. Alright? And that's the problem. And they know it. Because see, we don't raise followers here. Alright? This is a house of masters. A house of kings, for lack of better terms.
We're gonna have our meeting and smoke.
All right, peace and blessings. Appreciate it.
That's right.
All right, right on. Try. I digress. Whether these were monkeys, gorillas, or other animals, they did not know. These would come up to the house and speak to the woman, telling her that they wanted to have a dance. One day when these creatures were dancing together outside, males and females, she opened the door and went out among them. A short time afterwards, they caught her and devoured her. That night when the woman's husband came home, he heard a baby crying outside and said, "Bring the baby to the house. Why have you got it out there?" His wife did not appear, and after a long time, the man made a light and went to the place where he heard the baby's voice. Looking about, he saw a little blood dropped upon a leaf. He picked the leaf up and brushed off the dirt, and it turned into a human being. Then he fed it on deer soup, and it had attained a considerable size. He shat it up in the house when he went hunting. Meanwhile, the navel string of the baby, which the woman had been carrying, all right, so this is the umbilical cord, okay, had been thrown away and had become another boy a little bigger than the first. So now we have one boy who came from a bloody leaf, all right, and the other one came from the umbilical cord of the boy from the bloody leaf. All right, these are Moors. This is what I'm told, respectfully. They wore fezzes. Oh, and they do hoodoo. But that ain't what you do if you're an American. All right, because we're already did 3 parts on God of the American Indian. All right, so those who are American Indians know These people are out their fucking mind. Not only are they from out of town, they are out their fucking mind. All right? They dancing with gorillas. All right? Meanwhile, the navel string of the baby, which the woman had been carrying, had been thrown away and had become another little boy bigger than the first. But this boy was wild and lived upon bugs, which he would get by turning over logs. Though his brother said to him, I live upon this kind of meat, showing a piece of deer meat. He also had the power of flight, so he could fly. He ate bugs and he could fly, and he used to be an umbilical cord. These are Moors. Let them tell it. Finally, his father determined to capture him and tame him so that he could be a companion for his other son. He turned himself into a duck and squatted down at the corner of the house waiting for him. The wild boy wanted something which to sharpen his arrow, and the other came to his father to get it. The father gave it to him. Then the wild boy went into the house to get it, and his father ran out from behind the corner and pursued him. The wild boy tried to get out through the... Wait a fucking minute. Finally, his father determined to capture him and tame him so that he could be a companion for his other son. He turned himself into a duck. So the daddy is a duck. Or he's a shapeshifter. Bro, I can't make this shit up. You niggas so quick to claim these fucking motherfucking fake ass tribes. The first sign is that it ends in a motherfucking consonant, a Z. And what we've learned from our research here at Hawk School for the Gifted and the Elect is that most Aboriginal names and titles and tribes end with vowels. All right, so that's how we knew to take a closer look into these Natchez Indians, as they're referred. All right, and then we find that their story doesn't begin until, what is it, tribe? 16 something, 17 something. When a man and a woman comes from somewhere else and comes into the tribe. Said they were so bright, they were bright like the sun. And then the one man come and teach them how to worship the fire. When do we start worshiping fire, tribe? Did goddamn Red Hand email you? Because I didn't get the download. Alright? What the fuck is these niggas talking about, tribe? These are Moors. Excuse me. The wild boy tried to get out through the smoke hole, but his father caught him and hobbled him so that he could not get away. Then he hung up crosswise in the smoke hole and built a big fire under him, the smoke of which made him throw up all the bugs which he had been eating. All right? So now he done threw up all his little bug diet. All right? After that, his father took him down. We got some gorillas in the chat. All right, some little dancing gorillas. If anybody want to dance with any gorillas with gin up their ass, they're in the chat. They eat bugs too. After that, his father took him down, but he kept him and tied until he had become gentle and begun to eat deer meat. So now his father had to tie him up. That's kind of like this Rob dude. All right, that's how he was raised. All right, he was so wild and obnoxious, flipping over logs in the backyard, eating bugs and shit, that his father, all right, who was a shapeshifter, had to tie his little shape-shifting ass up, all right, and tell him to stop eating bugs, all right? And he began to eat deer meat. After this wild boy had become gentle, his father had to go off hunting. But before he set out, he shut his children up in the house, telling them they must not go away anywhere. When their father had been gone a short time, however, the large boy took the other up on his back and carried him out at the smoke hole. All right, so through the chimney. All right, these motherfuckers is going nuts. All right, these little motherfucking umbilical cord babies. All right, here go your goddamn test tube baby. Yeah, for instance, all right, you can see them in the chat. These shapeshifters dancing with gorillas. All right, these are test tube babies. All right, this is what it seems to be describing. Much like this gentleman in the chat harassing us. There's no doubt that he was nothing more than a navel cord, all right, that has somehow become a man from eating bugs, okay? He's probably a Moor too. The Natchez name of this ball is, I digress. After this wild boy had become gentle, his father had to go off hunting. Before he set out, he shut his children up in the house. Yes, we read that. Many trails led from their house, and they deliberated for some time which they should choose. But finally, they went eastward. All right? So they're not from the east. Now they're heading east. All right? So they're from the west. All right? By and by, they heard people playing and shouting ahead of them, and when they reached the place, they found that the noise was made by wolves. The wolves had a ball, perhaps half a foot in diameter, which could move about of itself as if it is endowed with life, okay? The Natchez name of this ball is Mataga. It moved from side to side among the wolves, and some would run with it, while others slapped it and made it go. All right? So now you got the goddamn magical ball, and the wolves is playing with the fucking magical ball, okay? The boy who had been wild said, I'm going to get hold of this ball. Go on, and I will overtake you. All right, so now the little boy, all right, the little motherfucking test tube boy, little fuck Natchez, he wants to wrestle the wolves, all right? He wants to wrestle these abominable quadrupeds, all right? Because he clearly lives amongst them. So he wants to wrestle them for this ball that seems to be animated, all right? When the wolves saw the boy, they recognized him and said, there is the fool boy standing there. That is just a navel string. Don't take it. So even the wolves, all right, even the disgusting wolves knew that you were nothing more than a navel string, okay? So even the wolves didn't want you. There's that fool boy standing there. That is just a navel string. Don't take it. Psst, said the boy. For a considerable time, he stood there looking on, and every time they spoke to him, he answered with the same word. Psst. After a long time, the ball slipped through the crowd and rolled to where the boy stood. Then he seized it and ran, and they pursued him howling. So now this little navel string done ran off with the ball, okay? And the wolves are chasing him. Look here at what we have found. All right? So when I fast forward a little too far. It says, finally he came up upon his brother, grasped him, and flew off home. When they got into the house, they made the ball fly all over from one wall to another. All right, so he's at home with his brother playing with balls, okay? When their father got home, they said, look at what we have found. Well, said he, keep it in the house. Don't go outside with it. If you do, it'll get away from you. Then he left them again. The boys played around in the house with this ball until they became tired, and at last the larger boy said, let's play outside. So they played outside, but they had not been there long before it got away from the smaller and began rolling away. They followed it for a long distance until at last it reached a creek over which hung a crooked tree. Okay, so now you got the little navel string, all right, chasing balls through the forest. All right, this is what he does in the chat. All right, so you can see they're still here. All right, they still exist. The bloodline is still strong. He's in the chat chasing balls now. All right, watch out for the wolves. So they played outside, but they had not been there long before it got away from the smaller and began rolling away. They followed it for a long distance until at last it reached a creek over which hung a crooked tree. The ball ran up this tree with the larger boy in close pursuit, and fell into the water and was lost. When the boy who was following got tired of hunting for it, he went back to his brother on the bank. When he got to him, he said, our uncles live on the other side of the creek. Shout to him and let him take you over in his canoe. Stay with him. I'm going to hunt for that ball again. All right, now pay attention. All right, because these are some super weird motherfuckers. All right, their bloodlines in the chat. When he got to him, he said, our uncle lives on the other side of the creek. Shout to him and let him take you over in his canoe. Stay with him. I'm going to hunt for that ball again. When you call to our uncle, he will tell you to come across on a foot log, but you must not do so or you will fall off and be drowned. All right, now this is probably because his little ass is chained up. All right, little rat ass. All right. Make him bring the canoe over. So when the smaller boy called his uncle and his uncle told him to come over on the foot log, he said, no, I want the canoe. Then his uncle brought the canoe and carried him across. All right. His uncle had some fish on the other side, which he told his nephew to bring along. And when they got to the house, his uncle told him to cook it. All right. Then he told him to make some mush. When the boy began to cook and rake out the fire with a stick, his uncle told him to use his hand and took the stick away from him. All right. So now he's on some real S&M shit. And when he burned his hand in consequence, his uncle laughed at him. When the boy stirred the mush with a stick, his uncle took that away from him also and made him stir it with his hands. Everything being done, the uncle told his nephew, let me pause where it pauses. Everything being done, comma, the uncle told his nephew to lie down. These are Moors, allegedly. So he lay down on his back, and his uncle set a jar of mush on his belly and began to eat out of it. When he was through, he gave the boy a little and said, I'm going to stick up a sassafras, quote unquote. Meaning that he was going fishing. Natchez Legends. Then the man went out fishing with his nephew, and while they were there, a big red perch began singing close by. The perch song was this: you old man, you have sassafras stuck up here, quote unquote. The perch kept going back and forth singing this over and over, and finally the uncle became angry. You old man, you have sassafras stuck up here. What? The perch kept going back and forth singing this over and over, and finally the uncle became angry, dipped up the perch in his net and ate him, bones and all. Well, that can't be a nigga, because niggas can't stand no fish bones, press 1. They ain't talking about no white bread or nothing. He eat fish bones. Oh yeah, they fucking with my camera. Yeah, you see it. Niggas ain't eating no fish bones, shawty. Alright? Niggas squeeze the shit out of filet of fish from McDonald's to make sure there ain't a bone in that motherfucker. He sang at intervals, and the old man became very angry, but he could do nothing. All right, hold on. After they had sat there for a while, however, the uncle heard the perch singing in his belly. He sang at intervals, and the old man became very angry, but he could do nothing. All right, so now he's in the old man singing, you old man, you have sassafras stuck up here. I can't make this shit up, all right? This is the Natchez Legends, all right? Another space of a time elapsed, and again he heard the same song. This time from the place where he had defeated him. He became angry again, seized a stick, and beat the pile of dung to all pieces for a while after everything was quiet. By and by, however, the uncle's hook became caught, and he told his nephew to dive in and free it. All right, so now they're fishing, and the fishing hook is caught underwater. All right, so he done told the nephew that he was just eating mush off his stomach. All right, told him to dive in the water and go see what's wrong with the hook. All right, he did so, and his brother sitting there, I said sitting there, under the water, holding the hook. All right, these are clearly jinn. All right, he asked his younger brother what had been done to him, and the latter described how his uncle had burned him and eaten off of him. Then the bigger boy said, I'm going to get revenge, quote unquote. So he went about in the water, seized a number of fish, and laid them ashore near where the old man was fishing. Take these up with you and cook them, he said. So the old man took them up and began to cook them. When he grasped the poker, however, the boy took it away and told him to use his hands. Now make mush, he said. And when the old man got a stick with which to stir the mush, the boy took it away from him. So the old man stirred the mush with his hands, and he did so. So he said, and I quote, he gigi H-I-G-I-G-I-G-I-G-I-G-I, he gigi pretending to laugh. When everything was cooked, the boy told him to lie down, then put the jar of mush on him, piled the fish around him, and getting on each side, began to eat. The old man began to be burned by the hot bowl and raised it up a little with his hands, saying, hee as before. When the boys were through eating, they told the old man to eat, but before he was through, they got up, struck him in the head, and killed him. In this house, they found various things which their uncle used in dressing himself up. They started off leaving the old man lying on a blanket on one of his ears, which were very long. After a while, the boys came back again And the larger boy said, "You are in a pretty position, just remain that way." The fourth time they came back, the old man spoke up and said to the larger boy, "You are a navel string. You are mean. You have been in the habit of treating people meanly, and you have done it again." They went away and came to another person sitting down sharpening nails or tacks to put in the heels of shoes. They asked him if he could kill a person by sticking the nails into him. "If you can kill a person that way," said the bigger boy, "try it on my brother." He did so and killed him. Whereupon the biggest boy killed him also with a blow. Okay? Then he doctored the smaller boy and brought him to life. These are Moors. Then they took the nails off of the man's feet and carried them away, saying, "These would be good things for our father to use in making shoes." So when the father came home, they said, "We have found these nails to make shoes with." But their father told them that this was not what they were for, and they had better put them back on the owner. They did so, and he returned to life. Okay, so now when they gave him his nails back, the owner that they had allegedly killed has now resurrected. All right, this is Legends of the Natchez Tribe. All right, he's a what is this? The ghetto informant program. He's either a agent of the government or just another failed Freemason. All right, with third-degree burns. All right, go ride the goat. The boys started on again and came to a house where cannibals lived. They climbed up on top of the house and heard the cannibals laughing, feasting, and playing inside. While they were there, a number of cannibals came carrying a baby, which they set in a bowl on the fire. Then one of the boys on the housetop dropped something into the bowl and broke it. "This baby is alive," said the cannibals. "He has broken our bowl." Then they put the baby on the coals to roast it. And when it was done, all squatted down and began eating. Squatters squatted down and began eating a baby. These are the legends of the Natchez tribe. Somebody said they're Moors because they have fezzes. Ouch. As soon as they had fallen asleep, the bigger boy got down off the house and tied all of their hair together. And then they set fire to the house. By and by, the cannibals discovered this and said, "Why, the house is on fire." They tried to get up and began shouting to one another, "You're pulling my hair, you're pulling my hair." And they fought until the house burned down. Then the boys ran away. After the bigger boy said to his father, "What do you do in order to kill a deer, bear, etc.?" He answered, "I always use medicine." Then the boy said to his father, "I can find what kind you use." So he went out to a creek, brought back a big turtle and said, "Is that the kind of medicine you use?" "No," he said. The boy went a second time and brought a dead snake. He brought all kinds of dangerous things, everything he could think of, but he could not find what the medicine was. Then the boy determined to follow their father on one of his hunting trips, so they made all kinds of arrows and hid them in order to be prepared for the journey. When he set out, they kept only just within sight, for he was on the outlook for them on account of the questions they had asked him. Finally, he came to a high mountain and stood up and looked far up into it. Then he opened a door at the foot of the mountain, and out came a deer, which he shot. Then he shut the door, picked up the deer, and started back while the boys hid until he had passed them. When he had reached a distance at which one can barely hear a person whooping, the boys went to the door and opened it. Then deer, turkey, and all kinds of creatures began running out, and boys began shooting at them, but they made no impression. All they could do was to whoop and clap their hands. Their fathers heard them, ran back, and shut the gate. Then he told them there were just a few things left inside. He said, "You can now go on your way. You have let out all the game we had to live on. I had this game for my own use. Now you may get on as best you can. I am going back." After his father had started off, the larger boy began thinking over what had happened, and he made something to follow his father. This is called wagul in Natchez. Wagul in Natchez. And it was round and flat. When he had made it, he threw it after his father and said, "What is father saying?" The thing followed the father, and when it had overtaken him, struck him first on the heel and then on the knee. He looked around in surprise, stood still for a time, and then went back to his boys and said, "I am sorry for you, but you have wasted what we have had to live on. We cannot live any more on that, and we will go westward." It was evidently a chuckstone, Creek Sam, the father of my informant, all right, this is the writer's notes. Creek Sam, the father of my informant, interpreted this to mean the Natchez had been obliged to migrate westward to the place they now occupy. But that as some animals were left in the mountains, some hope was still left for the Natchez. So that is part 1 of the Natchez Legends Lodge Boy and Thrown Away. All right? Their names are Lodge Boy and Thrown Away. Shout out to everybody that tunes in. Shout out to all my fans, all right? All these man fans I see in the chat we have tonight, all right? It's great for the algorithm, all right? We appreciate it. You're a slave of mental death and power who does not know who the true and living God is or your origin in this world, who is easily led in the wrong direction and hard to be led in the right. But we here at Hawk School for the Gifted and the Elect are the best of people, raised for the good of mankind. We will not be silent. Still undefeated. Press 1.
Subscribe to the Unconquered Tribe. You are now live with the incredible host.
Wow,
This
Indian
is Hawk
TV.
School for the Gifted and the Elect.
So the next time someone tells you the Natchez are Moors, they're going to have to tell you a little more. Peace to the tribes.
They charged Jesus with sedition. Didn't they do that? They said he was against Caesar. They said he was discriminating because he told his disciples, go not the way of the Gentiles, but rather go to the lost sheep. He discriminated. Don't go near the Gentiles, go to the lost sheep. Go to the oppressed.
That's right, that's right, that's right. Ride, 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 ride. Let me by when you see me ride. Don't you see me switching lanes? Bitch ass niggas switch sides. Don't hate the riders, hate the game. Don't hate the riders, don't hate the riders, don't hate the riders, don't hate me, man. Don't hate ass niggas switching sides. Don't you see me switching lanes? Let me by when you see me ride. Don't you see me switching lanes? Bitch ass niggas switching sides. Don't hate the riders, hate the game. Don't hate the riders, don't hate the riders, don't hate the riders, don't hate me, man. Don't hate ass niggas switching sides. Don't you see me switching lanes? This king shit, fuck change, man. Give me gold bars and gold crowns. If a pimp suck these hoes down, housewives turn porn star. These hoes go too far. I'm guru, this gangster. St. Louis don't fight fair. Put bullet holes in your bank gun. Fake hoes get exposed. Eat bitch niggas like takeout. Hate the game, don't hate the riders. They watch us like a stakeout. Lurking on my Instagram. Is that what all that hate about? You acting like I